What is happening, boys and girls? Welcome to another video. In this very interesting video, we are going to talk about the question of whether or not women like older guys. You know, women in general like older guys. I assume so. And this is also the conclusion. So if you want to skip the video, you can do so right now. But from my personal experience, which we're going to talk about, and my anecdata and some evolutionary biology, I have come to the conclusion that yes, a lot of women like older guys. This is not to speak on the behalf of every woman, but from what I've experienced, younger women like older guys. And it's pretty evident if you think about it. But the question is why and under which circumstances? And the reason why I concluded is pretty simple. Women like experience. Women like someone who can show them the world, or at least parts of the world. Because women are, in my opinion, if they're in their feminine nature, not to sound misogynistic or anything, more the receptive gender. They like to be taken out. They want to be led through life. They want to be given and they want to take. I think that's the natural dynamic between the one spectrum, which is masculine, and the end of the spectrum, which is feminine. And obviously, there are people in between the spectrum, and it varies greatly. And depending on your type of personality and the type of personality of women that you date, you will attract different people. But having this out of the way, women that I find attractive like older guys. I personally do not necessarily have a preference. I like to date girls from all ranges of age. Depending on the personality, depending on the vibe, depending on the looks, quite frankly, I don't really have a preference. But I do like women of quality. I do like women that have character. I do like women that have a good looking physique. Because these are things that I hold myself accountable to. This is what I find important in my own life, and this is why I'm dating those. Regardless, women like not necessarily age, but experience. You can also, for example, be a guy who's 20 years of age, but because you've always been driven, you've always been very determined and dedicated, a lot of women will find you attractive. It's not that if you are young, you will not be found attractive. There's a lot to play into the whole dynamic of attraction and mating and dating and all these types of things. Me, for example, I dated since I'm 13. I've always been dating, but I've been more successful right around this age. This age is the most successful dating age that I've been in. 26, it kind of started getting really good. 27, it became far better, and now 28. It's very natural at this point. But maybe also because I've been just dating for so long and I've been gaining a lot of experiences with girls. Now, to be fair, I do not want to claim that I am the master of disaster, the dating pimp, the dating coach, the dating king. I still have a lot of things to struggle with. I still don't necessarily date the women I date all the time. I still take L's, to say it in a cool, youthful language. But from an objective standpoint, I can attract far more women, I can maintain far more women, and I can relate to far more women. I also wanted to say that I'm not rich or super wealthy in any form or shape. So if some of you think, yes, age is attractive because then you have more money, this is a factor that plays into it. For sure, no doubt about it, money is sexy. If you are sexy. There are obviously women who only like money, who will only like a man for their money, but do you really want to spend time with them? I personally don't. That's why I try to develop my personality first and foremost before everything else. Even though I'm at this point of my life where I definitely want to place far more importance on wealth creation and these type of topics. Regardless, money is not the factor. It's not the main driver. Maybe it is, to some. As I said, it's a spectrum. It depends on the person. It depends on the culture you're growing up in. It depends on a lot of factors. So yeah, it's very hard to point a finger on that. But I think the core of it all is experience. Women like experience. I can only repeat myself on this one. The other thing is physical development. I'm quite certain that a lot of women like older men just because of the way their body evolved over the years. Because I, for example, as a man who has been training since more or less 8 years now, noticed that your body takes a lot of time to actually mature. Your skeletal muscle needs a long time to properly develop. If you're a natural, obviously. But even apart from that, you just gain experience over your body, over your physique, the way you can move, the way you want to move, the way you should move. You are more able to be precise in your execution of movements and the way you can handle the world in that regard. And a woman is a part of the world, a part of your world, I assume. And in that regard, a lot of women like to be handled, manhandled. You know, this is why a lot of fathers are so strong. You see these guys all the time, these dudes that look like they probably never hit the gym, but they are strong. Just because over the years their physicality just developed to a very practical extent. If you check out my previous videos, you get the idea that I have been on Tinder quite actively, and a lot of these women there were 18, 19, 20. The average age of women I'm dating at the moment is around 22, 21, 23, something along these lines. I mean, I like it. I like younger women, I can't lie about it. But at the same time, I don't necessarily choose it. I mean, I choose it to some extent, but at the same time, the offer is there. It's not that I'm putting a massive effort into attracting especially younger women. It just happens. Young women find me attractive. And to be fair, I am more or less an average dude. Women like older guys. They like experience, they like competence, they like confidence, they like if you're able to interact with the world the way that you want it. They like if you have boundaries. They like if you have a personality that's developed. They like if you have wit. In general, if you consider what a relationship is, an interaction between a man and a woman, it is only there for personal enjoyment. It's a hobby. It's something you do in your free time. In your free time, you spend time with a woman or a man, if you're a woman or a man, I don't know, because you enjoy time with that person. You enjoy time with the opposite gender. It gives you tingly sensations. It is a fun thing to do. It's all about enjoyment. It's all about fun. And if you're a woman, what do you want to choose to engage with in your life? You can have the full package. Someone who is witty, someone who's funny, someone who's intelligent, interesting, who gives you a great time, or you'll find someone who is, well, not very far developed in any of these domains because he's simply young. But I can also only repeat myself in that regard. If you're young, it doesn't mean you don't stand chances of dating women. When I was 20, for example, I dated one of the most beautiful girls that I've ever dated. She was 20. We were the same age. Yet, I only started training there, so my physique looked nothing like it does now. I had a buzz cut. I just shaved my whole head, so I didn't have the luscious hair that I have now. I didn't even have a haircut. I just chopped it all off. And yeah, I didn't even have a job, bro. I pulled it off somehow because I made her feel good. I gathered a lot of experiences with girls prior to that. As I told you, I started dating when I was 13. Yeah, I managed to do that. I managed to pull it off, and it's been a fun time, but I didn't manage to pull it off in any form or shape that was beneficial to my long-term satisfaction. It was more or less a lucky coincidence. I can't speak on the behalf of my game or level of confidence or competence or whatever there is to attraction that I managed to attract this girl. Still, I played the game, I tried my best, and I managed to pull it off, right? Imagine I wouldn't have played the game. Which leads us to another side of the whole discussion, which I definitely want to touch on. Whether or not you should play the game if you're young. This is a very complicated topic, and if I would talk to my younger self, would recommend to be cognizant of the fact that you are pretty much worthless to society yet. You can work in a grocery store, if that means you're valuable to society in your regards, but you don't really have any skills, you don't really show yourself to be of competence in any realm of human endeavor. All you do is just jerk off all day and do nothing, bro. That's the life of a young man, most of the time, at least to some extent of me. And the most important thing in your youth is to make yourself of value. That is super important, and if you manage to pull that off, yes, women will find you more attractive. Still, should you date as a teenager? I think you should get a sense of flirting, of mating, of dating. You should get an idea of female nature, because at the end of the day, my friend, we are specimen creatures of nature that do want to procreate. You could argue that everything we do, all we want, is only leading to the same outcome. Sex, food, shelter. It's all we need, it's all we want, and yeah, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is fairly interesting and important, but at the core of it all is this fundamental level of our existence. So if you are just running wild as a young kid, building a business, building a foundation, building wealth, but you don't understand women, it needs only one bad apple to ruin your whole existence. You could be one of these guys who never dated, who did the regular, oh yeah, I build myself up now as a man, I get a business going, I get money into my pockets, but then a girl comes around and you're just head over heels in love with her, and she just screws everything up. One twisted way about attracting women is you have to stop giving them attention. You have to find a way to invest your attention into something that will generate revenue. Not only money, but all these other aspects there are to existence. There is a lot to life, and money isn't everything, but it is a lot. Physicality is a lot, and there's a lot to talk about, and I don't want to even talk further on this whole topic. I think I talked enough. I hope this gave you some insight into my thinking at least, and maybe, just maybe, you want to leave a like and subscribe. Click the bell. Whatever you want to do, leave a comment. I will talk about what you think is interesting on this weird journey that we're all on. So, in that regard, my friends, stay active, stay healthy, and stay sober and clean. Okay, that's it. Peace out.